let's use some visuals because visuals are magic. Hi there, it's Christy with the Chirp YouTube channel. Here is another video today in our series on the diagnostic criteria of an autism spectrum disorder and how we can work on those core deficits that are part of the diagnosis. The part of the diagnosis I want to talk about today is deficits in sharing of interests. Okay. Why is it that people with autism don't share their interests as much as people without autism? That is a great question. Some studies show that people with autism have difficulty with something called theory of mind. And theory of mind is realizing that other people also have opinions and thoughts, and that other people's opinions and thoughts are different from my own feelings and opinions and thoughts. It seems kind of obvious to us who are neurotypical that other people have thoughts that are different from mine. But for a person with autism, that's not always a given that they think that way. If you imagine that everyone else thinks the exact same way that you do, then why would you bother sharing your opinion with someone else? It would be kind of useless. It would be kind of a waste of your time and energy, especially if communication is one of your weak points. We want to work on that. We're not going to start immediately with trying to get kids with autism to verbalize their opinions or tell us what they like and what they don't like. We are going to start once again with modeling and modeling the things that we know kids like and don't like. For example, if I offer my child green beans and she spits them on the floor, I did this as a baby, but now I think green beans are fine. But at the time I did not think green beans were fine. Green beans were not fine. Okay, so your child spits the green beans on the floor. Instead of saying, oh, ew, we don't spit green beans on the floor, you say, I don't like it. You have now modeled for your child that she could say, I don't like it, instead of spitting it on the floor. It would be better for everyone if she did do that because you don't want to have to clean it up. Every time your child does something that indicates to you that she doesn't like something, just model, I don't like it. And when you see her doing stuff that indicates to you that she does like something, say the opposite. I like that. Use good affect in your face. Use good prosody in your voice. Make sure that your voice is exciting and happy or kind of disgusted. We've got to have one or the other. We need to have contrast between these two things. It can't all be, I like it, I don't like it. Because our kids don't tune into that. We need to be that really exciting radio that they want to listen to in order to get the social and communication interaction that they need. Okay, so modeling is one thing that we want to do, and we can do that very, very early. Even if our child is not verbal, even if our child is not engaged, is pretty much only interested in herself and whatever sensory input she can get, we can still be modeling this. Another trick that we are going to begin doing when our child progresses to the point of being moderately interested in the world around her, we're going to start working on commenting. This is another thing that kids with autism don't usually naturally do. They pay attention and they communicate when they want something, not necessarily just to ambient stimuli or to things that they hear, see, smell, that kind of thing. We want to get them tuning into all of those things. So let's use some visuals because visuals are magic. I have a little visuals board here that says, I hear. I used to take these on walks with the kids that I was working with as my private clients. So we'd go on a walk, and I think I put these all together in a little communication book so we could flip through them. but having them on cardboard is fine too. The goal is that every once in a while, when you hear something, if you're out for a walk and you hear something, you would say, I hear helicopter. And you'd listen and you point to the helicopter and say, helicopter. I hear helicopter. It's okay to repeat yourself a lot because our kids usually need words to be repeated. And then you can hand it to your child and see if your child's willing to say, I hear anything. You can plan it so that you only stop to use these boards when you do hear something, or you can plan to stop every minute and listen and look around and smell and see if you hear, smell, or see anything on your walk. I also have a smells one. This one's really fun because you can also play it. I mean, obviously you should have more things on here like grass and, exhaust, depending on where you live, certain kinds of trees or things like that your child is going to recognize the smell of. I made this one for an indoor game when we were playing with essential oils, oil of orange, oil of lemon, and when we were playing with spices. So I had a bunch of little cotton balls that had some of these scents on them, and we would open the bag and sniff it, and then we would tell each other what we smelled inside those bags. So this was a fun game. But if you're going to play it indoors, these are some good examples. If you're going to play it outdoors, you might want to add some more things like grass and maybe you have horses nearby and you can smell the horses, which is mostly poop, right? No, horse smells like hot horse, so you would be able to smell the horses. I have a C one somewhere, but I don't have it with me right now. I also have a textures one. This one is, once again, good for a game type of scenario, because when you're going for a walk, you're not really going to be touching that much stuff. You could plan on doing that. You could touch the tree bark and then say it feels rough. I think I have a rough on here. Nope. And then say it feels rough. Or touch the grass and say it feels prickly. I do have a prickly. Isn't he cute? But mostly I made this again for an indoor game where I had different pieces of, like I had a stretchy exercise band and that was stretchy. It's better to have a few things in each category that can demonstrate that thing. Because if I use a stretchy exercise band, I might mean that to fit under the stretchy category. But my young friend might think that that is smooth, which it is. And that should count in more than one category. So I recommend more than just 4 things. I think I was starting out with 4 things and then going to add more the last time that I used this. But very good idea for practicing commenting. The reason we're talking about commenting when we are discussing sharing opinion is because commenting is kind of a bridge into sharing opinions. Once you realize that commenting is a way to connect with other human beings, and once you become accustomed to it and you begin to enjoy it, it's not a very big step from saying, I hear a helicopter, to, I like helicopters. And that is the next step that we want to take. Once your kid gets used to saying, where's the smell one? Once your child gets used to saying, I smell peppermint, and is doing that regularly, whether it's with the support of the visuals or not, eventually the kids get bored of using the visuals and they will just start telling you, most kids anyway. And then you can transition into adding on, I like peppermint, or I don't like that smell. So once again, we model, I smell banana. I love bananas. I smell orange. I don't like oranges. I don't like that smell, or I don't like oranges themselves. Both work. That's how we transition kids into sharing their opinions. We model it for them before they are interested in communicating or before they are verbal. And then once they are a little more social, a little more engaged with the world, and able to use visuals more successfully, and willing to tune into the world around them for short periods of time, then we start introducing the visuals and we start using the visuals to explain the world around us. Don't forget that kids do not intrinsically use visuals any more than they intrinsically use verbal language. Our kids with autism need to be taught how to use visuals just like they need to be taught how to use verbal language. It's part of the diagnosis that it's going to be more difficult for them than it would be for someone who is neurotypical. So once again, we need to model how to use these. I smell peppermint. I smell flowers. And we hold up a flower and we sniff it. We're teaching a lot by doing these types of activities, and it helps the child grow in lots of different areas. Social skills, self-regulation skills, labeling, vocabulary, all sorts of stuff is being improved as you are working on these skills. So even though it seems like a very simple thing that you're doing, it's tuning your kid up in lots of great ways. And before I move on, I want to say these pictures are from a program called Boardmaker. You can subscribe to their software, I guess, and print out these kind of things online. Or you can just take digital pictures of stuff and then glue it on some cardstock and laminate it, and you have your own little pictures. It helps to have the word on there. It doesn't matter if it's at the top or the bottom. It helps to have a visual and also the word, because we're teaching our kids to recognize those words, and it will help them with their later reading skills as well. So you can use Boardmaker, and I'll leave a link down below. Or you can use a digital camera and a laminator. I guess you don't need a digital camera. You can just use your phone and print out those pictures. But I will leave a link to a good laminator down below, because everybody needs a laminator. And I will see you in my next video. Please don't forget to give me thumbs up, to subscribe to this channel, and to share the videos that are the most helpful for you with other family members, other professionals, on your social media. I really appreciate that. Not so much for me, but because there are so many families out there who feel like they have lost hope. And my hope is that these little videos will show everyone that even a tiny little bit, even a little step, is a huge deal for our kids. Makes a huge difference in their lives just to do one thing. So do one thing today, and I'll see you in my next video.